Maxx Crosby
Motion detected.
speaks out. Who's at the front door right now? Ziggy, show me the front door. Maxx Crosby speaks out. George Pickens is a priority.
The front door camera.
What are you doing, Ziggy? What are you doing? Package? What are we doing here? Ziggy, off. Ziggy, turn off. Son of a... George Pickens, a priority for the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Penix Jr. says, I will be ready. And Kingsbury, a coach in LA, what's that mean? What can we read through the tea leaves on that one? What's that mean? Does that spell? What's that spell? What's going on with Seattle? Is Shieldhouse going to Seattle when Kubiak leaves, or is that going to be an internal hire in Seattle? That's kind of where my mind goes. Shieldhouse, what's going on there? The Fantasy Football Show Breaking News Edition, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. The Zigmeister Interrupting the Show edition begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Maxx Crosby speaks out on the Colin Cowherd Show and literally, I don't want to say puts to bed all of the rumors about his situation, but it definitely was not what I think a lot of people were expecting. Let's change out the glasses. I love these glasses, but I think I'm going to switch over to the different Gunners. For those that don't know about Gunner.
The Gunner Player of the Week.
Brought to you by Gunner.com.
15% off using code Smitty. Pickens, how ironic he's still on the screen. This is from last year. Let's switch the Gunners out. Let's go with the... What are we gonna wear today? Let's try these out. I haven't worn these in a while. These are nice. So you guys tell me what you think of these bad boys right here. Ooh. I like these. What are these called? These are the Vertex? The Vertex over at Gunner.com. All blue light blocking glasses. All I wear are blue light blocking glasses. Smitty, why are you wearing your sunglasses inside? I'm not. I'm wearing blue light blockers, baby. And everybody else that's consuming this channel and all your screens should be wearing them too. Guys, this is, he's wearing Raider gear while doing the interview because he's with the Raiders, bro. That doesn't tell you anything. He's literally working out at the facility. Like, what do you want him to do? Wear a different uniform? Anyway, neither here nor there. This man has decided to speak out on Colin Cowherd, but he does dance around the topic a little bit. And he says something like to the tune of, in a sum total of what he said, I'm not going to speak on anything. I woke up to hearing this and that. It's all news to me. So Jay Glazer yesterday dropping a bomb on Radio Row says that Maxx is done as a Raider. Now, I'm not saying there still isn't smoke here. That Maxx is just trying to play coy, posture big, and not put his team in a vulnerable position to trade him. But Maxx said nothing to confirm what Jay said. In fact, he went the opposite direction, leaving some openings of like, I'm not going to really address it. I'm just going to say that people are speaking for me, and I haven't told anybody anything. And so Jay Glazer saying he's done, Jay Glazer acting like his bro, Crosby, like they're broskies. His broham tells him this insider information is the way Jay came across. And I told you yesterday, I didn't really feel like it had a whole lot of legs to it. I'm not saying Jay Glazer makes up stuff or he's notorious for being wrong or anything of that nature. But I did tell you this doesn't feel, we're going to hear very soon this very vocal person. He's not scared to tell anybody how he feels. We're going to hear him shoot it down or it's going to get confirmed. What do we do? Less than 24 hours later, as I predicted, Maxx Crosby essentially shot it all down, saying, this is all news to me. That statement alone tells you that it's all fabricated to a degree. Now, is he unhappy? Was he unhappy? Did he at one moment maybe shoot his mouth off when the team sent him home and said, you're not going to play, you're going to have surgery, you're just going to rest you, it does you no good to put you out there on the field, we can get the number 1 overall pick and Fernando Mendoza, just go ahead and take a seat. Did he get mad? Did he run his mouth? Did he get upset for a moment? Did Jay have some of that ammunition that's old and expired and dusty and doesn't even hold weight anymore? Maybe. But this man went out and said that all of this is news to me. And he said that there's a lot of nonsense out there and that he's not going to speak to it anymore. And what he did say left some opening for interpretation, where he said that in the past he's made a statement and then people take it and twist it. No matter what he says, someone's going to twist it. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So he said, I'm now going to be in the business of not saying anything. My mentors have told me not to say a word anymore. I'm not going to say a word anymore because everyone's going to twist it up. Now that to me seems a little bit not Maxx Crosby like, although he's taking heed and instruction from someone and his mentors, he said. So maybe he's trying to turn over a new leaf of not being vocal, I guess, and just speaking what's on his mind. But he does have a podcast. He does have a platform. I don't think this will live too long. This whole I'm going to keep my mouth shut. That's not Maxx Crosby. Whatever he's trying to do here, he's doing it temporarily. I do think there's maybe some exploratory thinking going on. Maybe the team is like, what do you want? He's like, I don't know. Like maybe they're just dabbling around. But the one thing I'll say about this guy, he's got tattoos of the greatest of all time all over him. If you remember back in his gym when he was shooting hoops after he was complaining about being sad and not being able to play football in the final week, and they showed him shooting baskets in his gym, and he was kind of like calling the team out, like, I'm fine, look at me. And if you notice on the wall, he's got the goats on the wall. He's obsessed, and for good reason, obsessed with the greatest of all time. He's obsessed with the Muhammad Ali's, the Jordans, all of the greats that won championships with the team that drafted them. That's what defines a GOAT. That is why Jordan always will trump LeBron, and anybody that says different doesn't even know ball at all, or they're 20-something years old and they don't know the difference. But this guy is kind of in that vein. I think he realizes that he wants to win a Super Bowl with the team that drafted him. He doesn't want to go ring chase. That seems like a cowardly way to go get your ring. And it's not something that I think is the approach and avenue he wants to take. At the end of the day, I believe he will stay a Raider. At the end of the day, I believe his comments today on Colin Cowherd saying it's all noise and that, people are speaking for him and it's all news to him when he hears things like this. And he didn't tell anybody anything. Then why does Jay Glazer have this information? I'm not saying Jay is trying to be wrong here. Like he's trying to just get clicks. I'm not saying that. Jay usually does not fabricate. And I'm not saying he's always right, but I'm definitely not saying he's always wrong. But there's less here than I believe Jay Glazer made it out to be. Now, doesn't mean something can't develop. Doesn't mean the team isn't interested in some way of just exploring it because of all the money that it would free up. And, you wonder how many, he is getting to that peak prime territory where he could start going that way in a year or two. And so you could get top draft capital and value for him. But I don't think he leaves. I think the Raiders are going to cook. I think Mendoza is going to stretch the field. Bowers is going to be the number one tight end in football. Genty's a top 5 running back, if not top 3 running back in fantasy football. Maxx Crosby is going to lead this defense into a different direction. The offensive line is going to get revamped around all of what I just said. On top of going out and getting new pieces, the Raiders are going to be a whole new team. And it's going to be led by Kubiak. And then when Kubiak leaves, who ends up going over and coaching in Seattle? I'm not saying that Kingsbury was a potential player or a coach for that situation. I'm not suggesting that necessarily, but I thought maybe there was a chance that could be in the conversation. Kingsbury is now in LAR with the Rams. And you got to wonder what this move is in preparation for. Is maybe Shieldhouse leaving the Rams to go replace Kubiak in Seattle? Is that a possibility, or is Seattle going to bring somebody up from within? So that's kind of just where my mind goes a little bit, is as we start to see all the puzzle pieces get taken, all the pieces on the chessboard are getting ripped from the board. Seattle's kind of screwed, right? So what's Seattle going to do? Unless they just bring someone up within, which they could. I've heard their offensive line coach. There's a lot of a lot of potential coordinator, looks that they could go with. But I do believe that there potentially could be a preemptive move here, but we'll have to see what ends up happening there. But Commanders in Cliff Kingsbury, who joins that staff to head up the Los Angeles Rams so that this guy can get even more of a resume built up for 2027. Of course, Kingsbury wants to be a head coach again, and that's kind of an exciting thing for the Rams to get another offensive-minded type of guy in place. And he's been good with quarterbacks. He's great with quarterbacks. Not that Stafford needs to work or anything, but it's a great move. Kingsbury is a fantastic addition. Some people hate Kingsbury. I don't understand that, especially if Kingsbury is just in the capacity that he's going to be. It's even better. I'll be ready, says Penix Jr. in regards to his ACL recovery. He said no surprises here. He's done this before. This is his third ACL. He's not concerned about it. He says that when asked by K on Up and Adams, Kay Adams said, "Are you ahead of schedule?" And he said, "Yeah, I think I'm a little bit ahead of schedule according to my doctors." And she said, "Are you going to be ready?" He says, "I'll be ready. I'll do whatever it takes to get ready. I will be ready for week 1. This is great news. This is exciting news." But then we had more concerning buzz, I should say. I don't think there's necessarily any sort of. Let me see if I can find the damn graphic for the bozo. Where's he at? Where's my graphic for Stefanski? I don't know if I have anything for Stefanski. I got to have a Stefanski graphic somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Stefanski, where are you? Stefanski. I got to have something for him here. I know we've been talking a lot about him the last handful of weeks, so I've got to have an image on my screen. But we've heard rumors that Stefanski's potentially, and again, this is smoke season, interested in bringing over Dylan Gabriel. This was his guy that he drafted. Stefanski's so bad with quarterbacks. There is a rumor that he wants to trade for Dylan Gabriel. Now, this could be the best news Shedeur Sanders owners could have ever heard. I don't know if I even have. Let me see if I can find a Stefanski graphic. Kevin Stefanski. Let me put that up on screen here. There we go. There's our boy. Kevin Stefanski wants to trade for, according to reports, it's nothing confirmed yet, wants to trade for Dylan Gabriel, because that was his quarterback that he went after. If this happens, I mean, Shedeur to the moon. Not suggesting Shedeur is a top 5 quarterback or anything like that, but this certainly puts him in a very optimal situation, and it shows how incompetent Stefanski is in terms of his quarterback evaluation. If anybody thinks Stefanski's a good quarterback observer, cultivator, decision maker, my phone lines will be open to you momentarily. You're more than happy to dial in and embarrass yourself. Now, if you want to say that he's going to be a good delegator in chief, that you've got Tommy Rees there, and Tommy Rees is my hope. There's a reason I'm not going to walk away from Bijan Robinson. Number 1, he's Bijan Robinson. Number 2, Tommy Rees does seem to know a lot more what he's doing than Kevin Stefanski. And Kevin Stefanski's not calling plays. Tommy Rees is calling plays. So I still have hope. As much hope as I have about this Eagles situation at times. Not saying that I love what's going on in Philly, but Sirianni can only damage the offense so much if the right offensive coordinator is in place. When Shane Steichen was in Philly, Sirianni couldn't do anything negatively to that offense because Shane Steichen was having it run like a well-oiled machine. So our hope is that Tommy Rees is the man. And there is some hope for that. There's a lot of ambiguity and concern and question marks and unknowns with Tommy Rees. But Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator in Cleveland with Stefanski, because he just brought him straight over. Just head coach and offensive coordinator Cleveland, Stefanski Rees, went over to Atlanta. So Tommy Rees under Stefanski again. The way that he had Shedeur cooking, and I think Shedeur cooked at moments. You can say whatever you want. There were moments where Shedeur was doing very well considering what he was working with and the amount of preparation or lack thereof that this imbecile right here, Stefanski, put him in position for. I I don't even know how Shador did what he did. He connected with Fannin. Fannin was fantastic. Fannin was a top 5 tight end. We invented Harold Fannin Jr.
Let him cook.
We invented Harold Fannin Jr. on this channel. And Tommy Rees was able to get the most out of him. Shador wasn't even given the opportunity to practice with the starters before taking a snap as the starter. That's how incompetent this man is from the quarterback perspective. So Tommy Rees, do your thing. Tommy Rees, I hope you are the next elite up-and-coming offensive coordinator that we couldn't see really be up-and-coming in Cleveland because he didn't have the weapons. But what he did with what he had was pretty impressive. Let's hope that Tommy Rees is the real one.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy. Okay, so there's that. Penix Jr. Oh, so I guess the whole thing of talking on that tangent. 10 gifted memberships from Husseini. Husseini, appreciate you dropping the 10 gifted memberships. You straight up monster, you. Husseini to the mother freaking moon. Also, let me check out my Rumblers. Guys, Rumble is popping. We are growing so big. All these over on Rumble. We are growing so fast on Rumble. We're at almost 2.5K over there on Rumble. We've surpassed the Dynasty channel in terms of popularity even. And we're going to be at 10K in no time. The moment we hit 10K, I'm just letting you know right now, and that could be a couple months at this rate. The moment we hit 10K on Rumble, there's the Rumble link on YouTube if you guys want to go subscribe to the Rumble channel. I'm not saying you watch it over there. I'm just saying, open up 2 tabs. I'm also saying that once we're at 10K, we're going to be doing Rumble, not taking away this YouTube channel's product. We're not producing less shows on the YouTube channel. I will create an additional Rumble-only show. I don't know how many times a week. We'll start it off maybe once or twice a week, but it will be Rumble exclusive content over on the Rumble. And those of you on Rumble, make sure you subscribe to YouTube because the same can be said on YouTube. We're live more than anybody on YouTube that I can find anyway. And it sounds like we're live more than anybody on Rumble from a football or fantasy football perspective. So appreciate you all. So Penix Jr., the reason I brought this up is that he's not safe with Stefanski in charge. Now, Stefanski says he's excited about Penix Jr., and Tommy Rees has also said he's excited about Penix Jr. But if this imbecile brings over Dylan Gabriel, we've got to worry a little bit about what's going to happen to Atlanta. My concern with Atlanta is that if Tommy Rees isn't the man, and I'm hoping he is, and I think there's a chance he is, we could have one of those purgatory seasons. Bijan could still be top 5, but is he finish at 5 instead of 1? London could be 12 instead of being top 4, whatever he's capable of being. And then we walk into 2027, and you can say that there's no way Stefanski gets fired in 1 year, but we've seen it happen. We've seen head coaches get canned. Look at Pete Carroll. It happens all the time. The NFL is quick to move now. But we could be looking at a very, very quick firing. But if Tommy Rees is able to cook, and if Tommy Rees is given full autonomy of the offense and is full sending everything himself, then we have hope for sure. That's our only hope, though. But there is concern about Dylan Gabriel rumors. Again, not too sure how much I feel like they're concrete. This here by George Pickens news. Again, Rumblers, I appreciate you being here. Also, I've got the stream on vertical over on YouTube. So I'm trying to do some graphic stuff right above my head so that the YouTube vertical crew can see that content as well. But guys, we're looking here at finally, Jerry speaking about George Pickens instead of just Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams was what Jerry was talking about first, priority number 1 to bring back Javonte Williams, and everybody's saying, well, what about George Pickens? What about George freaking Pickens? Like, what are we doing, Jerry? But the good news is that Jerry is now speaking about Georgie Boy in the same way that he was speaking about Javonte. This report right here, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says he's looking forward to signing George Pickens to a contract extension, and further said that he can't wait to have him play for the Cowboys for a very, very long time. That's good. That's fantastic. That's hopeful. That has me excited. That makes me feel like maybe Jerry does have his priorities straight. It's hard to truly know. But at the end of the day, it does feel like Pickens and the Cowboys are headed in the right direction. The next step will be the franchise tag. I firmly believe we will not have a contract extension prior to the franchise tag, obviously. So this is going to be something where George Pickens gets tagged. He maybe creates a scene and unfollows the team and does the whole song and dance. It's very, very possible. Just because Jerry wants him signed to a long-term deal does not mean Jerry understands the price tag. George Pickens might ask to be paid the number one wide receiver money. And before you say, oh, that's crazy, it's not, because everything is a ladder. Everybody puts a ladder on their back, and then the next player climbs up that ladder and creates a new threshold. So it's not like you just go get paid number 5 money. You go get paid number 1, number 2, or number 3 money, and then number 7 climbs up, and number 8 climbs up, and then number 1, number 2, number 3 reestablish the ceiling and go up the ladders and climb up the backs of those that continue to pull the money up. It's not something where you just go find the 5th highest paid wide receiver in a new market where the cap is going to now go up to 300, and every single 2-year period, the salary cap goes up 18 to 20%. So last year's money is not this year's money. Last year's top 5 money is not this year's top 5 money. So George Pickens is going to certainly ask for top 1 to 6 overall wide receiver money. No doubt about that. Not even sure he'll start off with something at the 6 or 5 range. He might go straight to the very top. He might want the 2nd or 3rd highest paid salary annually of any wide receiver in the league. And that's going to create friction between Pickens and the organization, because I can promise you Jerry does not want to do that. Now, the other piece of news today that was nice to hear, and this is how much, and you rarely see this between two ball hog monsters like these two gentlemen right here. But CeeDee Lamb went out and said this. He said, I would, if he needs to, he would restructure in order to find money to pay George Pickens. And that's an unbelievable, step toward solving this situation, and it certainly opens up a new door and avenue to find money if Jerry, wants to penny pinch on this one. Lamb loves Pickens. Pickens loves Lamb. Dak loves them both. I think some of us Lamb owners and Lamb prospective owners would rather have Pickens in New England, where it doesn't hurt anything. It only enhances, fantasy football production. I'd much rather have Pickens in New England as the lone wide receiver than sharing the wide receiver 1 role with Lamb and kind of diluting one of the two. I don't think they can coexist as top 5. One can be 5, one can be maybe 3 or 4, but the other would have to be 10, 11, 12. Can they both be inside the top 10? Absolutely. One could be 6, one could be 7. One could be 9, and one could be 4. Certainly possible. We've seen it time and time again. And we've even seen it with a quarterback that doesn't necessarily produce top 5 quarterback numbers. You can be just merely an 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 overall scoring quarterback and still support 2 wide receivers that finish inside the top 10. We saw it with Aaron Rodgers last year with Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. They both were top 10 wide receivers, not obviously this past 2025, but in 2024. And so we certainly could see Aaron Rodgers was not a top 5 to 7 quarterback that season. So with Dak Prescott being a top 4 to 5 to 6 capable quarterback, given that Lamb and Pickens are both proven top 5 commodities when they're fed, we certainly could see 2 top 8 wide receivers in fantasy football. And Dak, while he wouldn't need to be top 4 or 3 or 2, will probably be 5 or 6 anyway. Top 5 or 6, top 4 quarterback. Dak, Lamb, and Pickens is an offense. Javonte, it's an offense. It's a fantastic offense. And as Pickens eloquently put it on Radio Row, he said, this is a number one offense in the National Football League. That's how he views it, as the number one offense, the most weapons, the most capable offense in the league. And I agree with him. It certainly can be in that conversation. You've got you've got a wide receiver in Pickens and in Lamb. Either one could be a top 3 overall wide receiver. If Lamb left, let's say, and he's not, but if Lamb left, Pickens could be 2. He could be number 3 overall in the league at the wide receiver position. You know, Lamb can be, we know we've drafted him at 2 and 3 and 1 before. So this offense is glorious, and it sounds like Jerry is on track to do the right thing, but does he have the right price tag in mind? I don't know. And where do we rank Lamb right now in fantasy because of how good Pickens is and what we witnessed in Pickens being the number 5 wide receiver in 2025? Pickens finished as the number 5 wide receiver in 2025. And Lamb was only wide receiver, I believe it was 17. Lamb was 17. Pickens was 5. Of course, I don't think that's going to replicate because this guy got hurt. But both of them are going to be inside this top 9. Where will Lamb be? I don't know. Will Lamb be ahead of Pickens? Could be. Will Pickens be ahead of Lamb? Could be the case. Who do you draft first? Cost of entry on Pickens is better by far because Pickens you're getting in the 2-3 turn. Lamb, you're taking still in the first. It's granted at the bottom of 1, but I still love that value. I'm going to have shares of both of them. I don't know how many in best ball. I don't mind having both on one team, but I certainly don't, I certainly don't in redraft want to draft both of them because redraft yearly leagues are different than best ball leagues. Let me go over to my Rumble chat real quickly and to see who's over on the Rumble side of things. Appreciate everybody on YouTube. I've got an amazing amount of people watching on the vertical. I have an amazing amount of people watching on the widescreen on YouTube, and we've got how many people we got over on Rumble just balling out over here. Aldi, appreciate you. Appreciate all my Rumblers. You guys absolutely rock. Appreciate Husseini dropping the gifted memberships. Phone lines are.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dak attack. Dak attack. Lamb. Pickens. Lamb. Pickens. Dak attack. Dak attack. Dak attack. Dak attack. Dak attack.
All right, phone lines are open. Justin, you're live.
Yeah, I just think with the George Pickens thing, it's easier to say it after, like you had the great season with him. But I think when you have players that you know are really talented like him, and you go out on that limb to trade for him, I think you got to get that deal done when you first trade for him. And it's taking a risk because you don't know how guys are going to translate to your system and everything. But a guy like him, especially because they were buying low. You know, if you would have signed him when you traded for him, you're buying low.
Well, the thing is Pickens. The thing is the reason, and again, 99, almost 95%, let's say, of the time, 95% of the time when a player gets traded they work out a long-term deal in conjunction with the trade because no team wants to rent a player when they give up draft capital. They want him on a long-term contract. They're trading for him because they believe in him. The thing about Pickens was Pickens didn't want a long-term deal. Pickens wanted to bank on himself because he never had a good season yet. And he knew he was capable of being a top 5 guy. And so Pickens is the one that requested, essentially, in a way, because they asked him about it. He goes, I don't want a new deal. I want to I'll talk about it next year. I want to go out and prove myself. And so the Cowboys kind of let that happen because he did come over with a lot of diva. He did come over with a lot of questions. It wasn't the most expensive deal. And so Jerry said, we'll worry about this. And if we end up being wrong by not extending him, we'll be so happy that he was so good we would have won a Super Bowl or something. Now, it didn't work out that way. Pickens was as good as Jerry was hoping he would be to prove him wrong, but they didn't do anything with it. So it ended up being a disaster in that sense, sure. But Pickens didn't want to sign a long-term deal. You can't force the player, to. So normally the player is the one going, hey, I won't play for you if you trade for me unless you give me a long-term deal. And then the receiving party says trades off. So it was complicated partly by Pickens' decision-making, which honestly, I did not think it was smart for Pickens because he could get hurt. But man, was Pickens brilliant in saying, watch me, I'll bank on myself, hold my beer. And Pickens went out and destroyed. And Pickens is going to make so much more money because of that decision.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just stubborn me, but I think you wave enough money in front of these guys, they fold. They fold. I think you could have, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not in those rooms. I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm not an industry guy like you. I know you've been around for real.
Well, all I know is Jerry's going to pay through the roof now. And this is why 99% of the time or 95% of the time, the team will never trade for a player. Especially, they'll trade for him when there's a new contract. For example, Maxx Crosby, if he gets traded, he probably will have a new deal in conjunction with the trade because you can structure it in a way that'll help the team and get him paid a little more and just kind of lock him down fresh. But there are times where you trade for a player where you don't get a new contract. Like when Diggs was traded to the Texans, they weren't going to give him a new deal. Diggs took years away and wanted to be on a one-year deal, which was crazy. We never even thought of that. I didn't even remember you could do that. It was so out of pocket. But usually a team when a player is anywhere near their contract year, or if they've got 1 year left, you are almost 95 to 99% of the time not going to acquire that player unless a long-term trade is worked out. Otherwise, you're just throwing that draft capital to acquire the player, the trade value, just down the toilet if you're just renting the player. You would never trade for a player you don't believe in, So this was complicated because Pickens had a lot of diva that he was bringing to the table. So nobody pushed back too much against it, bro. There weren't a lot of people up in arms. It's easy to say this in hindsight, like you said. But nobody, you weren't out here, nobody was out here saying, they're going to regret this. Everybody was kind of going, well, he is George Pickens, and he is a little bit of an oddball. Nobody said anything. So clearly, hindsight's 20/20, but what else you got?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said you'd be taking a risk. Like I said, when you're doing you're taking a risk.
It is what it is.
But my thing is just a part of what you said, where if you give up that draft pick for a player that caliber, and anybody that thought the talent wasn't there is an idiot. Anybody that just thought that there's just nothing there talent wise. I get the perception of this is just an.
But he did. But again, bro, he didn't want it though. But again, he didn't want the deal. There's nothing to even talk about here because he literally did not want a new contract. So, what are you going to do? As the team, you still can franchise tag him if you want. It's going to be granted a mess, but you still can retain him for as long as you want. So if he's saying, I don't want a new deal, you know what he would have said? If they said, no, we want to give you a new deal, George. You know what he would have said? I want top 5 wide receiver money. And they would have said, you haven't proven that yet. And he goes, exactly. So don't give me a new deal. I'll go prove it. And then you're going to give me top 5 wide receiver money. So Pickens wasn't going to take anything you dangled in front of him. This dude's stubborn. He wanted top 5 wide receiver money. He felt like he was the top 5 wide receiver, and he was so ballsy about it. He said, I'll wait. Hold my beer. Let me show you. He showed us and did exactly what he said. So there's nothing to even talk about here. He did not want a new deal. They can't force him.
Yeah, I said you might be right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing here is what I'm saying. Okay. What are you thinking about Maxx Crosby? Does he get traded? Does he not get traded? He again shot down a lot of what Jay Glazer said, but then he also didn't exactly deny in totality that there's anything going on. He just said, this is all news to me. I haven't told anybody anything. People are speaking for me. I'm not going to say a word about anything anymore because I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. None of this stuff, it's noise. I'm here to work. I'm in the facility right now working. I'm here every single day. I'm the first one in and the first one out. All I want to do is be great. All I want to do is work hard for my team. And I'm here in the Raiders facility. What more can I tell you? And so he left it at that, danced around it a little bit, said he wasn't going to answer questions about it. That gives a little bit of an opening that maybe there's something to it. Instead of saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm a Raider for life. He said stuff like that before. But that's the problem, is he said that year in and year out and no one believes him. So he's like, I'm done. I'm done talking about it. You guys don't want to listen to me. He did mention that one time. He says, people don't like to hear what I'm saying anyway. Like I say it, and they don't believe me. So that's kind of where we're at now. Does he stay or does he go? And then I got to move on to the next.
Well,
call.
one thing I'll say is, like, I think he's a high quality character guy, and I think that he cares a lot about, like, just being respectable within that organization. Like, I don't think he wants to make a stink. But do I think that he wants to get paid more as he gets older? Yeah. Do I think that he's willing to get traded for it? Yeah. Like, and I don't know what point of the cycle he is, because, like, we know these players go back and forth with the team, and, like, it's like, okay, they might have a month where the tension is really rough, and they might have a flowery month where everyone's like, we're going to figure this out. We haven't yet, but do I think he gets traded? Yeah. I think he gets traded. Right. And I don't even know necessarily if it's this year. I don't know the way his contract structured, but
you got to decide now, not eventually. Does this?
Yes.
This year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. Justin, call back if you got another one. Appreciate it. Later, bro. I got to go to the next caller. 440, you're live.
I need me a piece of that action next year. Dak, Pickens, Lamb. Holy smokes!
Best ball. It's a glorious stack. You know, those stacks are great in best ball because you can. Let me pull up this. Let's see here. Oh, we got to redo the mock draft video because everything's changed since then. All right, so if we're talking about this stack, this Dak attack stack, you're still picking CeeDee Lamb inside of round number 1. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to get – this is going to be tough because if you're drafting this stack, Pickens is probably Travis, where is Pickens' ADP on Underdog? Can you look that up real quick? So if I've got Lamb –
yeah, I think it's second round. Let me double check.
So you almost got to take –
That's going to be a high second round, right?
Well, I think he's more like 2-3 turn, but
22.6.
Yeah,
2-3 turn. Wow,
yeah.
that's a good deal.
So,
that's a league winner right there.
So this means that if you're going to go the Dak attack stack, you're taking Lamb at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're taking Pickens at 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. So you're able to do this in this fashion. Now, this is on Best Ball Underdog.
You might as well get the tight end in there too.
Yeah, this is Best Ball Underdog promo code Smitty. We draft at midnight Eastern. There's the big board is $10. The first place prize is $200,000. So if you guys want to join us at midnight, please,
that'd be great.
Please sign up. But this right here is you're gonna have to go with. Hold on one second. We're gonna have to go with. Where's Dak's ADP, Travis, on Underdog? It's got to be like round 8, 9, 10.
It's 86. I did this last night, actually. The whole Cowboys team stack.
Yeah, so
that's fantastic.
So he's what round?
Good for you.
86 is at what is that exactly?
So 86 by 12 would be in the 8th round.
So we're talking about like
beginning of 8.
We'll just call it mid 8 to top of 8. So this is such a great thing because it doesn't require the quarterback to go inside these top 4 rounds. So whenever you're doing this kind of stack and you still got a 3rd and 4th rounder to support it, it feels good. Now, it's a lot better if it was like this, if you could draft the stack like Pickens was 4 or 3, or Lamb was 2 and Pickens was 3. Like, you're giving yourself a whole lot more ability to build around it. But this is a powerful best ball stack, because if you can then come in and grab, let's say, Breece Hall around number 3 as an example. Hendy's probably, depending on his usage in the Super Bowl, he could fall to 4 very easily and can be had in 4 a lot. And that would give you that upside play. Bucky Irving, I think, is in 3 still, but you're getting this kind of team. Lamb, Pickens, Bucky.
I think Bucky let a lot of people down this year. He's too small.
No, he's fine. They just need to use him properly. And look, Zach Robinson's going to want to use him, much like he.
What do you think about Junkins next year?
I wouldn't touch him, bro. That injury is devastating. Bucky. So let's take Bucky out and put Breece Hall, who I think Breece Hall is the most capable third rounder in fantasy. He could be a first rounder. If he's in KC, people are going to change their tune on where they're drafting him. Right now, you can draft Lamb, Pickens, Hall, Hendy. And then,
what about Walker?
And then, Walker's solid. This would be an unbelievable Dak attack stack. I would love to draft that right there. This video,
that sounds really good. That sounds like a moneymaker.
This video right here is dropping probably tomorrow. This is the tight end video, so get ready for that one. Real quick, Jack, hold on 1 second. Travis, what are you thinking on the Pickens situation, the Maxx Crosby, the Penix Jr., the Stefanski, any of the stuff that we talked about?
So just quick on that stack, so I'm doing a ton of I'm just going to max out the little board this year, do all 20 drafts, obviously. So I'm just doing all types of different builds. And I wanted to do one where I just got literally all the Cowboys. And obviously you can get their backup late. And so I did it because Lamb fell to 9. His ADP is 7 or 8.
Yeah.
If he fell to 9. So I took him at 9. Then I took Pickens at 16. And then for the rest of the team, Ferguson, his ADP is not to 127.
That's crazy.
So that's an easy one. Javonte and Dak, I just took around earlier than their ADP to make sure I got it, because you know how people will block you. So, you can always take a guy around early too when you're trying to do these builds, no problem. So it's very feasible.
Let me read this one real quickly. The super chat from Travis D says, should I trade Goff and Nico for JJ and Dynasty Superflex? It depends on your quarterback situation. If Goff is your starter and you're going to be screwed at your QB2, I don't know. It makes it tough, but I do overall like the value of JJ. I still believe JJ is going to be a top 3 wide receiver in Dynasty. I think his situation gets Breece Hall and JJ are I'm gonna have so much content on Breece Hall and JJ because these are the 2 players that will change so quickly in value once their situations get resolved. Right now, everybody's scared to draft them, scared to trade for JJ, scared to buy into it. What if it doesn't get fixed this year? It's going to. Something's gonna happen, and whether it's Tua Tagovailoa, whatever, JJ's gonna go from what feels like rags to riches. Jack, can you mute yourself? We got a lot of wind, bro. Just mute yourself. I'll be right with you. JJ goes from near rags to riches off of this potential change in his environment. And Breece Hall changing environments, going to KC, going to New Orleans, wherever he ends up getting, he's going to get tagged and probably traded. And in a worst case scenario, he gets tagged and he stays in New York and he probably still does very well, but we want him elsewhere. But if he goes to KC, he's going to go in the 1-2 turn. He'll go at 12, 13, 14 overall. If Breece Hall is the starter for the Kansas City Chiefs, he will not be a 3rd rounder. He will probably not be a 2nd rounder, or at least he'll be top of 2. JJ and Hall will be my most talked about players in the next couple weeks. But anyway, so at the end of the day, I want you to take JJ, but it depends on your quarterback situation, bro. All right, go ahead, Travis.
In the Pickens situation, I think they'll probably get something done. I guess, another way to look at it though is, if they lose them, yeah, it'll hurt the offense, but they didn't take a huge risk. What did they give up again? Was it a second rounder to get them?
Let me see. See if Kruger can give us the details. Hey Kruger, what was the exact George Pickens trade that the Cowboys made with the Steelers?
The Cowboys and Steelers made a trade on May 7th, 2025, where Dallas received George Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick, while the Steelers got a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. The Cowboys wanted a strong receiver to pair with CeeDee Lamb, while the Steelers, having acquired DK Metcalf, were willing to move Pickens. Now the Cowboys have a strong receiver duo.
Okay, yeah, we don't need that. So, it was
so third round.
Yeah, low risk. Third
Even
5
better.
swap.
So all things considered, then it wasn't a huge risk. And one thing about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones is that, to his credit, if something goes wrong and they don't sign Pickens, they will put all that money somewhere else. He usually goes and spends it. So
yeah,
I know people, bash on Jerry. I bash on him too, but I think, it's just a different way to look at things where I think they'll still, they'll bring someone else in and they'll spend the money right. Well, maybe not right, but they'll spend it. So
problem is though, by the
won't...
time that gets worked out, all the free agents will be signed. So, because the league opening, the new league year happens, all, Evans will be gone, Wandell will be gone, Dobbs will be gone. All these guys will get inked real quickly. And Pickens, that situation is going to take so long to get to a dead end. Because they'll tag him.
But at the worst, they're trading him for more. Right?
I honestly think
traded him away for.
I honestly think that they wouldn't be crazy to just make him play on the tag. He'd eventually show up. He's going to hold out and piss and moan about it. But I mean, and I don't like it. You don't like it. We know he'd probably get hurt if he held out. That's just the way it is. But these teams don't think like that. Jerry's going to assume that isn't the case. So, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But I think that at the end of the day, with CeeDee Lamb suggesting that he'll rework his own deal to find the money for Pickens, I think it ends up happening. I think it could take a little longer than we want, but this might end up happening. With the way that Lamb wants this to happen, I think it's going to be doable. Travis D says, for Jefferson trade, I have Baker, Goff, and Shador. I don't know, man. I mean, Nico's pretty good. I guess, yeah. I don't know. I'd rather have JJ. I personally don't love Goff long term anyway. So I'm okay with this trade.
He's got to be able to get another QB. If he can get another QB, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Shador and Baker isn't exactly leaving you empty-handed, but it isn't exactly locking you into security either. You could luck out with it. But I don't really love Goff long-term, bro. I think Goff losing... I don't know what Goff's going to do this year. I think he could have a okay year. I don't think he's ever going to be great without Ben Johnson, but that's me. I think he could be okay. I think they're going to lean on the run a lot. I think Petsing will get the most out of him, but that he can. But I don't know that Goff is going to be like top 5 or anything like that. I think Goff could be like a top 10 quarterback, But I like Shador a little bit. I think you might be okay. I'd rather have JJ. Keep working it. Quarterback trades are hard in Dynasty, though, or in Superflex, so I don't know. That's a tough one, bro.
So, anyways, my point on Pickens was just, it'll be a mess if they don't get it done with Pickens, and I think they will. But they'll make another big move of some sort if they can't get it done. And I don't know, maybe it will be too late, but I still think they'd end up making a trade or, putting the money on the defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think Crosby, Crosby could be a franchise tag trade, Crosby trade. Certainly possible. Blitzen with 10 gifted memberships. Blitzen, thank you, pal.
You've just been
blitzing to the moon. Jack of all trades, you think Pickens gets signed to a long-term deal? Does he play on the tag? Does he get traded on the tag? Where's Georgie boy going? Did you say already? I forget.
Well, I think he wants to win a championship, and they have great opportunity there in Dallas, especially with Lamb giving up some money. If you Dak give up a little bit of money also, that's how, Tom Brady won all those Super Bowls. He kept on giving up a little bit of cash to win a Super Bowl. So it has to be a trade-off. I mean, you just want to, what do you want to make, $27 million a year or, $31 million, if you make the 27, you can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I have heard Pickens, suggest that it is going to be, he said it kind of both ways. He said that, someone's got to pay. Like he's earned it. And honestly, man, the balls that it takes to say, I don't want a new deal. Let me play ball and prove it. Go out there, you prove it. I mean, I think he deserves top 5 wide receiver money because he just earned top 5 wide receiver money. So we'll see if Jerry's willing to pay.
As long as he doesn't turn into an AB.
Well, he seems like he's got his head on straight, man. All these interviews I've seen him do during the Super Bowl week, he's been a real well-mannered dude. He seems very happy.
Yeah, he wants to get paid.
Seems very happy.
What if it goes wrong, though?
I don't know.
If adversity hits, if they say our top number is $25 million.
Well, that's not his fault. Like, I would be pissed too. I mean, I'm not going to sign up for that. I'm not going to.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But how does he react? Is all I'm asking. I just want to. He deserves the benefit of the doubt right now because he's done everything right, but we still haven't seen it.
Right, but I wouldn't even disapprove of him. I wouldn't disapprove. I wouldn't even say the benefit of the doubt that he's going to go off the rails. I think he deserves to go in the other direction and say, I'm not playing for $20 million. Are you out of your mind? Like, I'm going to support that stance. I don't think he's being a diva at all. If they offer him $20 million, I wouldn't show up either. I'd be like, bro, I just went out and proved. I said, don't worry about the money. I'll do this one I'll take one for the team this year. And Jerry's like, great. This is fantastic. We don't need to pay him this year, but you're going to pay next year. Oh, fine. No problem. But
if they're smart, they'll offer him Lamb's exact contract. And Lamb will have to be okay with that, and they both make the same money.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe he doesn't have his sights set on number 1 overall wide receiver money, but I can't imagine him not wanting to be number 5 or something. Because again, it's not necessarily. It's just a stepping stone for everybody else. Like number 5 today is going to be number 8 by the end of the offseason. Like those contracts happen quick. We'll see. All right, Jack, final thoughts, my boy?
That's so true, what you and Travis both said, and we'll just have to play it out and see what happens. Hopefully we can all get a piece of that pie and win some championships.
Yeah, take us to the promised land. All right, later, Jack. Congrats on winning the Moon Man League. We'll see you in the Mars Man League.
Well, I really appreciate it, and it was a great opportunity. Thank you very much.
All right, later. Appreciate you. Travis, anything else? We'll be back at midnight Eastern. Rumble, appreciate you. Travis, final thoughts on any of these topics today? And then we'll be back at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, just quick on Crosby, I think he's smart to just kind of say, not going to say much on it either way, because, whether this was something leaking out of his camp or people taking old stories or whatever, it doesn't make any sense for him to say much on it. It's not going to really work unless he wants to get out of town. It doesn't make sense to say much or do much about it for now.
And his comments were kind of like, they're more so shooting down everything Jay Glazer said, but there was a little crack and opening for it to be like,
right.
Like as I was listening to the interview, I'm like, what are you going to say it? Are you going to say, like, I'm still waiting for him to be like, it's completely BS. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Like you're waiting for him to say it, and he wasn't saying it. And so you know that there's like some truth to him potentially. I don't know the wonderment of it or something. I don't know, but it was like everything that was being said was news to him, and I was like, okay, this is all fabricated. And then he's like, I haven't talked to anybody, so everybody's speaking for me because I haven't told anybody a single thing. So basically saying what Jay was saying was trash because Jay was saying he's played his last down. He's not going to be in LV. And so for him to say that he hasn't talked to anybody about it, that makes that complete trash. But at the same breath, he wasn't like completely, he's just like, I decided I'm just not going to talk about it. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Now you're kind of making it sound like maybe there's something to this. He's like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. You're not really damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you come out and say, I don't have any intention of playing for another team. This is the team that drafted me. And as far as I'm concerned, this is my home forever. Like until, they trade me or something. You're not putting yourself in a weird spot that way. We had another caller on.
Yeah.
Caller, call back. I'm sorry, bro.
Go for it.
No, he hung up. Whoever that was, call back. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
I let him sit there for forever.
Interrupt me if he calls back.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Just take the call. And the more I think about it from the Raiders standpoint, I would, and I mentioned this the other night, I would seriously think about trading him. I'd at least, and it might piss him off, so you have to be ready to move him. But if you can get, either a high first rounder or 2 low first rounders for him, I think I'd do it because this this draft is loaded with edge guys and rush guys. I'm not saying you can definitely get another Maxx Crosby, but you can at least have the chance to get a prospect that you can maybe develop. And if we're being honest about it, I know teams can turn around quick, but can we project more than 3 really good more years out of him? He's 29. He's got wear and tear. He costs a ton of money. So I just wonder if this might be the time to strike while it's hot.
I think if you're getting,
I
think if you're getting what we suggested, the 2 teams that this makes the most sense for, from a draft capital perspective, would be the Dallas Cowboys with the 12 and the 20 pick. So you get both of those, and then the Rams with the 13. They have the Falcons 13 and the 30 pick. Because they're going to want 2 first rounders. I mean, we can pretend that, he could be close to his decline, but he's not. He's in his prime. So, whether people want to project that he has a couple more years or not, no one really knows how many years he'll be able to do it. He could do it, 4 more years. Hard to say. But yeah, if I could get those 2 picks, I probably would entertain it. But then again, I don't know. Maxx Crosby's Maxx Crosby, man. I'm fine keeping him at the same time. But we'll just...
Yeah, I'd be fine keeping him too.
We'll see what happens.
I just think it's this could be the one window to get a lot for him. And, realistically speaking, they have the talent on offense to potentially do it. But, are you going to be in a Super Bowl next year? Probably not. So now you're 2 years down the line. So it's at least worth exploring, and he should understand that it's worth exploring too.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Well, I would take those Cowboys picks, the 20 and the 12. I'd take that in a heartbeat, and that's nothing against Mac. That would give me. That would give me the receiver I need in Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate, and then you could potentially try and replace him with that 20 pick. But that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. And just quick on Penix. The whole Cousins there with Stefanski thing, that worries me. But if he can come back healthy and we get a signal that they want to go with Penix, that's a great sign. Injury is going to be a concern, but it's hard for it to get worse for Penix than it was last year. I don't know. You remember, like, when he was sitting on the sideline by himself, and after the games was asked, like, you know, who do you go to? You know, who helps you? Who are you learning from? And he mentioned no one on the coaching staff, and it essentially came out that, like, he didn't have much of a support system with Raheem Morris.
Well, we just got to hope that Tommy Reese is the guy, bro, because Stefanski ain't it. And,
right.
You know, the fact that we're even
It
hearing...
can't get much worse if someone actually wants to help him, you know. So,
yeah, hopefully Tommy Reese is a rising star. There's a chance he is. I mean, there's what he did with Shador and Fannin only in a running attack that you know, honestly, you know, it was misused. That I think Judkins should have got more footballs thrown in his direction, so that part worries me a little bit. But then it's like, you know, Bijan you're going to treat very differently than a rookie that's, you know, learning pass protection for that team and that system. And so Bijan's like working with you know, master chef and going into a kitchen versus like Judkins makes one of the best, you know, entrees in his specific, you know, genre of food, but doesn't have any experience in anything else. And you're like, why didn't you use him? So I think Tommy Reese is the key here, obviously. And I just hope that he makes Stefanski's presence irrelevant. But we'll see. I'm certainly not avoiding Bijan, and I'm going to tread lightly on London. I'm going to own London, but I don't know that I'm oversaturating. I'm not getting overweight on London because, you know, London's had a tough time staying healthy and not disappointing on some level somehow anyway. So you throw Stefanski into this mix, and I start to worry a little bit about London, but I'm definitely going to own London. I definitely love London. London's one of the most exciting wide receivers in the league. We'll see. I might even be more open-minded to becoming more overweight on London as we go through the season. But right now, I'm not worried about Bijan too much. There is a chance that he plays as running back 4 or 5 instead of running back 1. You know, in this situation, we just got to prepare for that.
Sure. I think I think another thing with Judkins, I think Judkins was kind of hitting a rookie wall too. You know, the team obviously wasn't good either, so that didn't help. But you know, he got a lot of carries those first, I don't know what it was, 6 or 7 weeks or whatever, and you know, they in terms of just pure rushing, and ended up with 230 carries on the year before he got hurt. So, you know, like we always talk about, a lot of these guys do hit that rookie wall. So, you know, he was just kind of plugging through, and you saw him kind of start to break through. 23 for 110, 21 for 82, 18 for 94. That, you know, at the beginning, and then it kind of tailed off at the end. So, you know, that could be the case too. But now with the injury, it's just gotta, you know, in terms of him for fantasy, we gotta wait and see. But I think that was another issue with the running game in Cleveland too.
Yeah, and then real quickly, Husseini says, Jerry, thank you, Husseini, for the super chat. If Jerry is smart, he signs Pickens to top 5 money and uses both first-round picks on defense. Probably what they will do, hopefully. Thank you, Husseini, for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, Blitzen, for the 10 gifted memberships. You guys absolutely rock. Thank you all for calling in. Travis, final thought, and then I'm out of here. I'll see you guys at midnight.
Oh, I'm good. I'll talk to you at midnight, Smitty.
All right, later, bro. All right, guys. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you, Husseini. Thank you, Travesty, for the Double super chats. Husseini with the super chat. Husseini and Blitzen with the gifted memberships. I'll see you all at midnight Eastern. Don't forget, I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. Don't forget about my 24/7 live chat Patreon. Only $10 a month. The link is in the description of the video. Don't forget that your boy has content 365, 24/7 right here, thefantasyfootballshow.com. Both links are in the description. And don't forget, we'll be drafting tonight at midnight on Underdog, promo code Smitty. Hit that link that's in the description of the video as well. They'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. I will see you all at midnight Eastern to draft. Deuce.